Hey, what's up guys? How you doing today? My name is Coach Del Conzo. I'm here at Ashley DeRose. We're just going to talk about a couple ideas that we have about the progression when it comes to cleaning and progression when it comes to squat. Talk about a couple principles of progression to be able to make sure your athletes are developed properly. We're also going to go over linear and lateral speed mechanics, make sure your athletes are as fast as possible on the field so they have the best athletic performance. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is our bracing progression. Alright, and the whole idea behind bracing is that we're teaching the athlete to be able to contract their core and their lower lumbar at the same time. So we're going to go through any sort of power lifts, Olympic lifts, or any type of lift that requires you to contract your core for nice and tight so it prevents them from being injured. Alrighty? So I can do full dead bugs, half dead bug, full dead bug. So the first part of the progression is we're going to do a dead bug, which is going to bring her knees to 90. Alright, she's going to put her hands on her knees, keeping her elbows extended. So she's going to come up, slide her hands a little past her knees, come back down. That's good. Give me another good one. Come up and come down. Alright, now, what we're looking for is to try to keep this lower lumbar flat on the ground. So if it starts to pop up a little bit, I'm going to tell her to push her belly button through the floor. Now, show me one bad one. Alright, you see I can put my hand underneath her lower back, come back down the other hand, relax. Alrighty, if you start to see the lower lumbar being arched, we're going to tell them to push their belly button through the floor just so they get 19. Relaxation. So the whole idea behind this is that so we drill this to the point that subconsciously, and they just do this automatically now with any type of lift. This way they're constantly prepared to lift no matter what happens. So we're going to drill the hell out of this. Ready? So now we're going to go from that. We're going to go to half dead bugs once the athlete gets a little more advanced. So you're going to put your legs at 90. We're going to start in position. Keep your hands here. All right. Now actually I want you to opposite arm, opposite leg, whichever one you want to start with. All right. And I want you to do a half dead bug. Good. Can't get my hand underneath the lower lumbar, come back up to the starting position. Alright, to the opposite side. Good, I can't get my arm, can't get my hand underneath there, that's also good. Alright, actually, I want you to show them a bad one. Alright, so now see how our lower back is arched. We tell her to push her stomach through the floor, push her belly button through the floor. Alright, now come back to the starting position. Alright, relaxation. Alright, so you start with the dead bug, the half dead bugs. Now we're going to go to the full dead bugs. It's going to be the exact same starting position. She's going to have her hands come above her head, and her legs go extend fully, and try and keep that lower lumbar on the back, trying to push that belly button through the floor. Alright, get in the starting position, Ash. All ready? Ready? Go ahead. Good, good. Core's nice and tight. Lower lumbar's on the ground. Come up. Do a little more. Once again, looks good. She has a nice strong core. Come up again. Alright, now show them the bad one, Ashley. Alright, see how the lower lumbar's coming up again? I can feel almost my whole hand and forearm underneath there. We're telling her push your belly button through the floor. Alright, we're good. Alright, relax, Ash. Now, certain athletes, especially bigger athletes, are going to have a hard time trying to keep that stomach contracted and that lower lumbar on the ground. All right, so however high they have to keep their legs to be able to push that lower lumbar on the ground, that's okay. Eventually, they're going to be able to stick their legs down completely extended, and we're going to be all good. And that's the first part of my bracing series with dead bug progression. All right, next part of my bracing series, we're going to just do a bridging series, or a planking series. I like to call it bridging. All right, just another thing that teaches the athletes subconsciously to be able to brace everything, keep everything tight, so while they're doing their lifts, all right, they don't have the chance of getting hurt because everything's nice and tight. So it's not the end-all be-all, but it's going to help a lot. All right, Ashley, can you get in a front elbow bridge for me, please? All right, she's going to get on the ground. All right, the way I teach bridging already, I want to make sure I have proper spinal alignment. All right, so I'm going to adjust her a little bit so she can come down. The way I teach bridging, make sure everything's nice and tight, make it a little bit harder. I want her hands being squeezed together. I want her to act like she's pushing her elbows together, but not actually doing that. I want her to squeeze her glutes. I also want her to squeeze her heels together. So a really good way to see if this is working, if she's all tight, is I'm going to come up behind her. I'm going to try to push her heels apart. All right, she's going to fight against me. There, so she's actually putting everything together, and she's braced. Now, let's just sit here. This is a good way. Now, the reason why we want to keep proper spinal alignment, a lot of people don't talk about this, is that without proper spinal alignment, you're not able to produce force through someone or through an object. So I'll give you an example. When you're playing football, all right, I'm going to make a tackle. If I have a buckled spine, I'm going to make a tackle. He's going to move, and I'm not going to move. Alrighty. So if you don't have proper spinal alignment, alrighty, if I have a straight spine, I'm able to produce force easier. I'm making a tackle. He's going to move, and I'm not going to move. Alright, so you're able to make a tackle. So that's why it's really important to make sure that spine alignment, whether it's front elbow bridge, side elbow bridge, glute bridge, it's all lines. We teach that proper spinal alignment so you're able to produce force on that. Alright, so after the bracing series, right, we're going to go into a little bit of progression. Okay? First things first, I'd like to point out that she's wearing a belt. The reason reason why this is wearing a belt is that when I'm coaching athletes, one of the biggest things that we got to focus on is injury prevention. It's going to keep that lower back nice and tight, even with the subconscious already knowing that it's going to be nice and braced. All right, this is just to try to prevent as many injuries as possible, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about injury, but we're going to talk about knee positioning, all right? Knee positioning, what I tell my athletes, either right underneath the shoulders, maybe a little outside, just not too wide, but it's more about comfortability in my view. All right, now when she grips the bar, I tell them to put their thumb in an L, all right? They're going to create an L, she's going to put it to the side of her body, come out, all righty? She's going to keep her hands there, all right? And then I'm going to have her grab it. She's going to grab the bar, with her hands in the same type of position. Just grab the bar, all right? So now she's in positioning. Just as long as her hands are in contact with her thighs, all right, she has a little bit of space, you know what I mean? That's just have to be outside the size. I'm cool with that. This is just a standard way that I like to teach it. All right, actually, you just rotate for me. All right, the reason why she's standing sideways, I want you to see the proper progression, hip extension, and knee extension, and ankle extension that she's going to have. All right, so the first thing I want to teach real quick, that we're beginners, we're talking about vertical positioning. All right, so I just want to ask you, her elbows extended, I want to squat down, shoulders packed. All right, so come up, clean. So that's your knee. All right, good. Everything extended, she had triple extension. We're going to have to do it one more time. Just come down. All right, and that's just a really beginner and really low level clean pull, right? Just to get an idea of what the first part of the move is really going to be. All right, so the second part would be a high pull. So I'm not going to do it right now. She's going to come down, come up, high pull. All righty? Keep the vertical position. PVC pipe, this way it's low intensity. She can get the proper technique and form down first. All right, you do high pull formation. Oh, good. Now the PVC pipe got a little away from her. That's okay. Try to keep it as close as possible. So you want to put more on it. Good. All right. And notice that there isn't a violent hip extension. We're just kind of getting used to it, getting used to the forming technique, which is okay for right now because I'm going to teach it a little bit. All right. Now we're going to put it all together. Now, without weight, trying to clean a PVC pipe without weight is pretty hard. You know, rotate the elbows up, get the proper positioning, rotate the shoulders. So have her clean. But since there's no weight on it, it might not be the best thing to form, but we're going to go keep it low intensity. So actually, after you put it all together, can you clean for me? Come up again. We're doing from a vertical position. So you're coming from here. Good. All right, that was good. That was a lot better. And also, she's pretty flexible, so she can actually get in a very good positioning without weight. That was a terrible problem. All right, again. Alright, so now we've gone from the PVC pipe, we've gone with a little bit of weight, about a 35-pound bar. Alright, now we're going, so once the athlete advances a little bit, we go from the vertical positioning, now we're going to teach the hip hinge from the hang. Alright, the hip hinge is going to be able to produce a little more force. It's also going to talk about roll, also be able to load the hamstrings up. You know, take advantage of that stretch reflex and stretch sorting cycle, which is the most powerful explosive in the body. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is we're going to do a clean pull, but we're going to have first a hip hinge, followed by a clean pull back in the first position. Good. Chest over the bar comes up. Good. A little violent hip, a little violent. All right, can you do one more for me, Ash? Now, after she masters that, we're going to go to a high pull. Same type of exercise. We're going to come down, come up, and then sweep a violent pull. Making sure that contact is right around the hip wall, right around here. Already, and bring it high. Good. Notice that her head is straight up. Her head is neutral. She's coming down. It's not going to straight up. All right, she's keeping that nice head position, a nice neutral head. She comes down, her shoulders are packed. You know what I mean? She's not buckling, her chest is buckling. That's really good. You do one more high pull for me. Hip hinge. Come through, violent hips. Good. See the contact? It was right around her hip girdle. That's probably the best one. All right, and that's just a little bit of a progression.
5x5 back as well.
And the hip hinge.
No, I'm good.
All right, so now I talked hang clean already. I think we were talking about athletes, talking about just trying to take a little bit of a lower back out of it. I think it's a little bit of a better idea. When you're teaching a group of athletes, it's easier, you know, you can get through it, you can lift a lot of weight, be able to, you know, stimulate the central nervous system. But now for the application processes, I'm going to teach full clean. All right, I'm going to teach the catapult method, which is a little technically a little bit different, but it applies directly to when you're talking about athletes that have used all their motor units, all their muscle fibers, all in one shot. It's pretty similar to a shot putter, a discus thrower, and a javelin thrower. So this would be very good to teach them. You have the time to be able to teach the techniques, to be able to properly progress through it, and make it really, really well when you're talking about one round. All right, so we're going to come over here. All right, we're going to get in a good my midfoot. Notice how my knees are still bent. Come through. And ideally, we're trying to coordinate that second hold. So we're going from my straight foot, past knees, weight, heel, front. Alrighty, we're going to pull, coordinate that second hold. So I pull that in contact right between here. Now, most athletes, you're looking for perfection and optimal. And now we're looking at athletes looking for ideal. So it's a perfect mix between perfection and optimal. We're really looking for ideal. Alright, so again, positioning. Come through, grab my bar, hands and feet are in proper positioning. Shoulders are back, the lumbar is nice and tight. Come through. Stand back up. I'll show you one more time. The weights are going heels. As it transfers to my midfoot to extend. Bars are going to ideally contact the hip girdle, and we're going for one more time. And that's just a quick form of the catapult. Alright, now the next lift that we're going to talk about is the squat. Now me personally, I like teaching the front squat first because it puts the athlete in perfect positioning for a back squat and also able to strengthen the core and the lower back. So this way a lot of athletes have a problem when they're squatting down and they have a back squat, they come down and start bending at the waist, they come here to overcompensate. Now with the front squat, you can't bend over at the waist because obviously the weight will fall forward. So it's going to teach you to strengthen the core, to strengthen the lower back, and it's going to put perfect posture and positioning to actually back squat. We're talking about progression, we're going to teach the front squat a little bit first. First teach the front squat, and as you see there, I want to extend our arms out fully, with our thumbs pointed up, and the elbow weights pop, and that's the ideal positioning that you want for the front squat. Now, alright, just right here on top of our belts. Alright, good. Alright, now, she's balancing the bar, squat down, come up, come to 90, come back up. Alright, now she's going to go again, she went a little low, she's pretty flexible, she's just going to hit 90, and she's going to fire back up. Up again, eyes straight, use your head, come back down. Now this is just teaching the positioning of the front squat is. So ideally now, I'm going to give the bar to her, she's going to put it in the front squat position. Alright, and she's put it in the front squat position. The reason why I teach that first is that there's really no difference between her having her arms extended, having her arms on the bar. Her hands will just sit here and her arms are working as little levers so the bar is moving. So she can actually let go of the bar, extend her arms out straight, and her hand on the bar she's be able to do it. So it's just teaching proper positioning and where the bar is supposed to be placed. It's just along the upper pectoral and the delts. Alright? Now once the athlete has strengthened their core, lower back, with front squatting, they're able to put that bar on their back, that's what we're going to start with. Alright, so I want you to get underneath the bar. Alright, up, both here, come up, step back. Alright, now if I'm spotting somebody, alright, just do out of spot, right on the person, if they come down, I grab right from here, right, and right left, lift them up. Now, I'm going to show you two good squats, and I'm going to show you a couple bad ones, and I'm going to tell you how I do it. Alright, actually, you come down to 90 and fire right back up again. Good, comes up, good, head's in good position, comes down, nice posture, up again. Alright, back in for me, Ashley. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to show you two things that which some athletes have a problem. Now, when you're talking about your longer limbed athletes, as in your basketball players or your volleyball players, they have very, very long femur. Now, when an athlete has a long femur, what it does is it puts a lot of torque on their knee joints when they're coming down. Sometimes it's a little stressful, it's a little hard for them to reach the depth. Alright, so they overcompensate that by putting the bar, they try to shift their center of gravity to the middle by bending their waist. When you come down, it's sort of squat to look like this. The problem with that is that you're using a lot of your lower back and it creates problems, you know what I mean? You're trying to keep your athletes as healthy as possible. Now, can you show me a bad one, Ashley? Can you show me a bad one with bending your waist, please? Going up. No. That's just pretty strong. So the only good. Come down, bend your waist, back up. Alright. Now, those are mostly with their taller athletes. Now, what you could do to be able to fix that is you can do a strapping real quick. Go from a high bar squat to a low bar squat, which is why we put a lot of power with the shoes. The reason why we're going to go to a low bar squat is that you're going to take that center of gravity, and instead of it being on your knee, it's going to go to your hip.
I just did. No, I just did one.
Alright, so you put that down there, it's going to shift the center of gravity so we can get the depth. Ready, Ashley? Down, good, good. Come back football players, your taller athletes, your receivers, your basketball players, you're going to see a lot of efficiency because of reach. One of a lot of other reasons. Not being tension athletes, we're not going to be.
She doesn't train.
Another thing that you're going to look for is that a lot of times when the weight gets low, it's really heavy. Athletes are going to tend to buckle their knees in as they come up. I'm not going to have Ashley show that because it's a little dangerous. The way you do that is if she was here, right, feeling kind of low.
It's not, no. Tough runners are
right,
more.
she comes down, right, we're going to wrap bands around her knees. So she has to constantly put tension on that band, right? So it's impossible. We're going to tell her to keep her knees flared the entire time she comes up, all right? Act as if there's a band around her knees actually, come down again, all right? She has to work on her knees being cleared, she comes right up. All right, so that's just a couple things that we can work on. That's just a couple things that we can work on with the athlete when it comes to certain conditions, exercise, squat, make progress steps, so they don't lift maximum loads, try to get them as far as possible. Okay, so now we've talked about the clean, we've talked about the squat and progressions of how to properly be able to go through those two exercises. Now we're going to talk about linear and lateral speed progressions and mechanics and trying to change motor patterns. We're going to talk about linear first, we're going to talk about A march, A skip, then we're going to talk about B march, B skip, and then we're going to go into our linear movements where we're going to talk about how to move properly and be able to counter movement. All right, so that's what we're going to go through next. All right, the first thing we're going to go through is we're going to talk about A march. Now, when you're talking about A march, it's an acceleration drill, all right? It's trying to teach that acceleration coming out of the block, coming out of your stance already. And the whole first thing you want to talk about is that you got to try to keep three things, because when you're talking about speed and you're talking about linear speed, there's three principles. You want to keep positive posture, positive shin angles, and triple extension and flexion, all right? Without those, if I bend over too far, I lose my hips, and I can't take that mechanical advantage that our hips to increase cycles. But the first thing we're going to do is we're talking about acceleration, we're talking about the A march. All right, A march, you should have a good tempo, really tall. A good cue to your athletes would be drive the knee up, act as if there's a string, kind of like pulling me up, straight up. My ribs are nice and down, I'm on core, and I'm gonna have a nice tempo while I'm walking. And that would be A march. Right around that tempo, you don't really want it slower, you kind of want it, to warm up, a little bit thermogenic, to warm up the body a little bit. Now, once you get through the A march, you teach A skip. The reason being is that it kind of teaches you how to bound, trying to start to teach you how to bound. It's going to teach you propulsion. When you're taking those first couple steps, you can get to translate and you can get to full speed. Most people, when they do A skip, and most teams when they do A skip, they do this. That is thermogenic. That just kind of warms up the body. This is thermogenic. If this is thermogenic, this is elastic. All right, and a good cue. And the difference between two is that one, you're taking advantage of a stretch reflex, all right, and you're getting your muscles to fire a little bit better. And also, one's elastic and one is thermogenic. Alrighty? So now that was A march, A skip. All right, once we go through acceleration drills like A march and A skip, we're gonna go to now top end speed. So that's where you get your B march and your B skip through. All right, the reason why you teach this is it kind of teaches that cycle through the leg cycle. It's also teaching you how to snap down to be able to create that more of an advantage. So this is more like top end speed drilling. All right, when it comes to B skip, when it comes to B march, B skip. So we're going to teach B march. Good cue is going to be up, out, down. Now, you don't want the athlete to come straight out in front of them, because when they come down, they have a good chance of hyperextending their knee. You also want to make sure when they come out and they snap down that they're not stepping too far out in front. Reason being is that when you step too far out in front, where am I right now? I'm running with all my hamstrings and I'm not running with my hips anymore already, so you're probably looking at a hamstring tear or a hamstring pull coming pretty soon. So whenever you step, it has to be right underneath your body, it has to be small steps, and it has to be fast, and it has to be powerful. So we're coming here, so we're going to go snap down, snap, and then that is B march. Alrighty. Another good way that you can actually teach the B march is that you teach a high knee drill, but the high knee drill is not the typical one where the athlete is bent over at the hips and they're just tapping their feet, alright, because that's not taking advantage of our hips. When you look at top end speed, you look at Usain Bolt, and you look at him running, it looks exactly like this. He's going to come up, we're going to try to get our shin, we're trying to get the back of our heel to the crease of our glute when we're running. Alrighty, and it's going to look like this. It's going to teach that first part. This way we come up, we're taking advantage, we're going to increase our cycles. We're going to come through. So after B march, another way to teach cycling is through a proper high knee and proper butt kick. This way we're not leaning forward, losing our hips. we're straight up and down. We're trying to increase that cycle and taking that mechanical advantage of our hips to be able to increase top end speed. Alrighty, so once we do B march, then to teach propulsion and to teach bounding, it's B skip. Now, good cues for this, because this is a little more technically oriented drill. Right, a lot of athletes have a hard time doing this. Would be skip, good arm action. It's gonna be up, out, down. Alrighty, it's not all the way out. All right, it's more in the middle, come back down. So it'd be alrighty. And that's B march, and that's B march, B skip. All right, just one real quick linear drill when it comes to acceleration that I like to teach is the wall running. All right, when it comes to wall running, you want to get in position. You want to make sure we're keeping our hips nice and aligned. Our hands are against the wall. All right, and we're in good positioning and posture, which is going to be right about here. Now, the second I look down, I'm going to lose my hips. So you got to cue the athletes to look right at their hands. You're telling them to come up already, and the first drill you're going to want to do is just a slow single exchange right here, so they get used to it. Now, the emphasis on this drill isn't about the knee drive. It's about a long back leg extending. It's going to help the athletes to be able to, those first couple steps, be able to drive their feet into the ground and be able to produce more force, so they will be able to accelerate a lot quicker through the drill. All right, so we're going to cue them here. Eyes are on my hands. All right, got proper positioning. My knee comes up. First thing I'm going to tell them to do is just exchange. Now, that back leg is on, all right, it's turned on, all right, that glute's turned on, long back leg, knees up. Don't really worry about the dorsiflexion, because once you tell them the dorsiflex, your intent starts to change, and probably the form of the drill is probably going to go right down. So don't even tell them that, because you want to look at intent sometimes when you look at drills. So we're here, all right, we're just switching and switching. Next would be a single exchange, would be where you get a little bit of that power coming through. Single exchange, single exchange, single exchange. Then once they get used to that, you go triple exchange, which is just 3 steps. Alrighty. You gotta look at their back leg. You gotta be driving that heel into the ground, not actually into the ground, but you want to be able to get at least slip a credit card in beneath. And that's wall running. All right, the next part of our speed mechanics is we're going to talk a little bit about lateral speed and lateral drills to be able to improve on certain motor patterns. This way our athletes are able to stop and start a little bit easier, all right, and be able to change directions a little bit easier also. First thing I would teach is deceleration. A real quick drill to teach is we're going to have the athletes stand on the line. We're going to stand laterally in a nice athletic stance. We're going to have them lean. We're going to have them make sure the right knee is actually over the right foot. All right, get in that position, and then we're going to have them switch the opposite side, almost like an ice skater. So we're going to come here, then you're going to cue it, you're going to switch, and then switch in that type of position. And then switch again, and switch again. Reason behind this is that when you're running in a direction, all right, just because you're able to drop your center of gravity, it isn't enough to be able to stop fast. If you want to be able to stop fast, you also be able to counteract that movement. So if I'm moving to the right and I'm running, I need to be able to drop my center of gravity and lean to the left. So this way I'm able to actually take off in the other direction with a little more speed and power. Alrighty, so another drill that's really good at cueing it is we're going to go shuffle, shuffle, freeze, lean. I'm going to shuffle, shuffle, freeze, and lean. And then we're going to shuffle, shuffle, freeze, lean again. Alright, so we kind of get used to leaning our body weight in this direction, but dropping our center of gravity in the opposite direction. Alright, and that's just one drill. Alright, the last thing we're going to talk about is just an acceleration drill and a change of direction drill. It's a little bit of both. Alright, and all this is a simple shuffle. But what I want to really talk about is foot positioning. Alrighty, and the way your feet are supposed to go. Most people think that you're supposed to keep your hips and your shoulders square, yes, but you don't want to keep your feet square. Whatever direction you're going into, you actually want to take that toe, you want to externally rotate it in that direction, because I know anyone who's trying to race, if your feet are squared and his feet and his toes externally rotated in the same direction, that guy's going to win every single time, all right? So the foot is going to be externally rotated, you're going to shuffle, shuffle, and then turn, and just a quick 3-step sprint in the other direction. So we're going to shuffle, shuffle, turn, and sprint. The whole reasoning behind the toe being externally rotated is that once you drop, when the toes now comes back around, puts spin and puts torque on the hips, you're actually able to produce more power in the opposite direction. Right? And that's just a really quick acceleration drill.